How I Became a Ghost, Chapter 5 Swamp Choctaws. We should go now, Father said. If we wait till morning, they could find us. We walked deeper into the woods, far away from town. We knew where we were going. For Choctaws, the safest place was a swamp. Nahaloes never came to the swamp. We hunted there, we fished there. Whenever we wanted to be safe, we always went to the swamp. All night we walked the muddy ground. The trees were thick and covered with vines, and thorny bushes grew everywhere. We arrived at the swamp as the sun was rising. We were not alone. Every Choctaw from our town, those who were still alive, had come to the swamp. The old women were limping as they walked. I remembered their dance on the stony river bottom. The swamp water was green and sticky. I carried Jumper and we crossed the swamp on logs and old wooden planks. Let me swim, Jumper said. No, I told him. The water is dirty green. You can't shake swamp water off. By morning, 100 Choctaws gathered on the island in the middle of the swamp. My father led us to a thick pine tree. Old man and old woman from the sandy river bottom sat at the base of the tree. Old man stood atop, and everybody hushed. We can talk about last night later. Now we need to go to work. Young men will go get the meat. Deer and squirrels are all around us. The swamp is full of fish. Young women will look for wild onions and berries. Older men will build houses and lean-tos. Winter is coming. We will spend the day working and have our first meal tonight. What will the older women do? A young man asked, and everyone grew very quiet. No one looked at him. They were too embarrassed. Old Man smiled. The older women do not need me to tell them what to do, he said. When the gathering was over, my father spoke to Luke and me. I'll build us a lean-to. You two see what you can catch for supper. I was only 10 years old, but I could catch a squirrel with a blowgun. Luke and I hollowed out 2 long stalks of river cane. Using a sharp stone for a knife, we carved darts from tree limbs and tied bird feathers to one end. I think we're ready, Luke said. Let's see if they work. You go first. I stuck a dart in my blowgun and lifted it to my mouth, aiming at a skinny pine tree 20 feet away. I took a deep breath and blew. The dart stuck in the tree. Good shot, Luke said. See how close you can get to my dart, I challenged him. Luke got a serious look on his face. He loaded his dart, took a breath, and blew. The dart missed the tree. Didn't even come close, but I didn't fall for it. I knew Luke was a better shot than that. You did that on purpose, I said. Luke laughed and slapped my shoulder. Okay, he said. You're a smart little brother, Isaac. Let's go hunting. I've been waiting for this, Jumper said. Jumper dashed to the clump of the trees on the far end and swam far end of the swamp island. Luke and I hurried after him. Jumper circled a tall pine and jumped up and down, growling and scratching at a tree trunk. Good boy, Jumper, said Luke. We heard a scattering of leaves and a chirping of squirrels. By supper time, we had enough squirrels to feed the family. While we were hunting, my father and his friends had built lean-tos. They cut pine limbs, tied limbs together with vines, and leaned them against the giant cypress tree. By nightfall, every Choctaw family had a home. Not a real home, not like before, but when it rained, we would stay dry. With blowguns, we caught our food. With lean-tos, we had a place to sleep. Young women found wild onions and leafy green vegetables, while older women dug cooking holes. They covered the holes with green branches so the Nahalos couldn't see see our cooking fires. And that's how we lived. A week later, winter came. Night and day, we shivered from the cold wind and icy rainfall. And every day, I grew closer to becoming a ghost.